Life Stories Live.
Hello everyone, welcome to another life story. Welcome to all our regular Zoomers and all the new people who are joining us tonight. If you have any needs, then please contact us on our hotline, +44 794 355 0287. Or you can go to our website, LifeStoriesWorldwide.com. There you'll find lots of interesting information. This broadcast tonight is going out Zoom, Facebook, and YouTube live. Please let your friends know. Tell them about it. It's going to be an interesting story tonight. And if you want any help, contact us. Tonight we have a guest from Doncaster, Colin Towers. Colin had quite a few roles in different businesses. He was doing toy vending, he was in teaching and investing in property, all sorts of things he tried. And then he spent some time in Australia. In all his work and all his travels, no one told him the truth. But then one day he found the truth. Tonight, Colin is going to share with you how he found that. So I'm going to hand over to you, Colin, now, and George is going to ask you some questions, I believe. Thank you, Colin and George. Over to you both.
Thank you very much, Alan, and welcome, Colin.
Yeah.
Welcome to Life Stories, of course, worldwide. Now, of late, we've had some celebrities, footballers, cricketers, and what have you. But today we have, shall we say, a man in the street, Colin Towers. Colin, just tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're up to at the moment, please.
What am I up to at the moment? Well, now I'm pretty much semi-retired. So basically, we just run our property business with property investors, and we look after our properties and, just enjoy life.
Excellent. And, of course, you weren't always enjoying life. Of course, you grew up in Darlington, I believe. Is that correct?
I did indeed. I was born in Darlington in 1951. Yes, that's true. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about Darlington and what was it like being a young lad in the northeast in the coal mining district?
Well, Darlington wasn't so much a coal mining district. It was more a railway town and a market town. And I was born right in the street behind the main high road in Darlington. So my playground was, in fact, the town centre.
Wow.
I used to love going up to the cattle market on a Monday when we're off school, going roller skating in the South Park. Fishing on the River Tees. It was quite a nice life, really. Really enjoyed my time up in there.
So you're a townie by the sound of it?
Oh, I'm definitely a townie, yeah. I love the countryside, but I'm at home in the town.
I grew up in the town myself. Now, of course, growing up in Darlington, in the town, plenty of shops. How was it? What was it like with school and things like that for you? What was that like for you?
School was okay. I mean, I passed the 11 plus, went to Darlington Grammar School as it was then. It was all right. I mean, I wouldn't say it was over exciting. I wouldn't say I was very, very academic. In fact, I managed to fail all my O levels first time round. So I had to go back. Hey?
Congratulations.
Yeah. So I had to go back to school and take them all again at Christmas, and I managed to get one. Well, I've got one actually in the summer, so now I had two. So then I thought, well, this is it. I'm off into the big wide world now.
Okay, did you ever envisage then at that particular time, in coming from school with just two O levels, that you would do all the things you've actually done?
No, never ever. Never dreamed of it. I mean, I always wanted to travel. That was always part of my vision, if you like. Never thought we'd do what we've done.
Now, when you were in school, what did your dad work at, for instance?
My dad was a boilermaker at the engine works, whatever it was then, British Rail, London North Eastern region up in Darlington, yeah. So, of course, it's all gone now. It's not there, yeah.
And do you think he wanted you to follow him in that trade, or was it something you had in mind you wanted to do yourself?
That definitely wasn't anything I wanted to do myself, no. I'm not very good with my hands, as all my friends know. Like they take the tools off me when I get to do anything, because I always make it worse. My dad wasn't bothered that way. All he ever said to me was, whatever you do, son, don't go into overalls like I did. It was probably the worst advice I ever had. But I didn't go into overalls, no.
Is there any particular profession you wanted to be? Like, I don't know, did you want to be a doctor? Did you want to be, I don't know, a surgeon or something? Or did you have any dreams like that?
I wanted to be a vet when I was youngish, yeah.
And
I just loved animals. I loved birds. I was a member of the local field club. We used to go on walks and all that kind of thing, and bird spotting. I just loved it. Loved animals. Yeah.
and did that come to fruition for you?
Nope. Nope. Not when you fail all your O levels, it don't. I don't get good grades enough.
Here you are in school. You've failed all your O levels. You've got no hope. What did you? Where did you go from there?
Well, it was easy to get jobs in those days. So, as a young lad, so I got a job with what used to be Dunn and Co. I don't know if anybody remembers them. They used to sell ready-made suits, hats, coats, that kind of thing. In fact, in those days, everything else was made to measure, but Dunn's was the only one who did off-the-peg suits. And I got a job with them, and I really loved it. I love retail anyway, because I used to spend a lot of time in Darlington Market, watching the stallholders chucking up the plates and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I've got a penchant for retail.
Okay. Now, before you went into retail as a young boy, I believe you were a chorister. Is that correct?
I was indeed, yeah. I was, I don't know, I was blessed or cursed with a great singing voice. I say cursed because I always wanted to be in the nativity play, but I could never get in it because they always stuck me in the choir. So, the world was spared my acting ability. But anyway, my voice was good. And I used to sing in a local church choir. My mother used to encourage me to go. And they never went to church, my mum and dad, but it was all right for me to go. And I used to go to the Sunday school there on a Sunday afternoon and things. Yeah, it was a good time.
And did you ever consider actually maybe a career in singing, or did you liked it so much?
If it'd been in today, then probably I would. But of course, in those days, without the mass media and all that kind of thing, I just wouldn't know how to have broken into it. I mean, that's the thing with a lot of careers, isn't it? People would love to do all sorts of stuff, but they don't know how. And unless the opportunity presents itself, then it's you just move on, don't you? Into the next thing, yeah.
Indeed. So you said you moved on. Went to Dunn's, and did you stay there for a long time? Did you make a career with Dunn's?
I would have done, but we had a really good career development specialist there, because after 8 months we got a new manager, and he was a shocker. He really was. The previous manager who took us on, it was me and another young lad there, and he used to really encourage us. He'd get us out selling. He'd give us extra commission. He was a real leader. But then we got this other guy when my boss got promoted to the #1 store, and he was dead mean. He was a skinflint. The only thing he wanted us lads to do was mop the floors and brush the suits, and that was about it. He took everything. So. Opportunity came along. There was an advert in the local paper to get a job with ICI in the labs there. All you needed was 1 O level in chemistry. Bingo! I was the man, and I got the job.
So you went just a reality check. When you started working, what was your weekly wage?
At Dunn's, it was £7.50 plus commission.
Wow, that's even more than I got. I started my employment career £4.18 a week. That was an apprentice painter.
Yeah.
Okay, so you worked at Dunn's for a while. You got a bit of experience in retail. You said you liked, but the opportunity to move into ICI came along for you. Was that how big a step was that for you?
I don't know. Every step that I've taken has just been natural. I mean, it's never been a panic or a worry. I'm not that kind of person. I mean, I've come to realise now that when God guides your life, you just follow the golden brick road, don't you, and go where you're led.
Of course, you're looking back in hindsight. I mean, you say when God guides your life.
Absolutely. Yeah, I wouldn't have known that at the time.
You said you went to Sunday school. You did the choirs. I mean, did you hear much about God in those days?
Well, yeah, I guess I must have done, but it was like straight over my head, I mean, yeah, we did all the Easter stuff. We used to go and help to put the Easter crib together and all that, the garden and everything else. And I used to love it, but no, I never really understood that you could actually have a relationship with God. Never understood that. Just never saw it.
So anyway, you took the big step. You went to ICI. Was that an eye opener for you, moving into a very big conglomerate, basically working with lots of men? And how was that? How did you feel doing that?
I love the place. I mean, I love industrial architecture. So to work on a big site where there's lots of plants, it was just fantastic for me. I just loved it. It was a big adventure. I learned a lot of stuff there off the guys who were around me, which stood me in good stead because they were, quality guys. It was pretty good.
Now, when you say working with plants, are you talking about chemical plants or was it just regular plants?
No chemical plants. No, I'm lousy. I kill flowers. I'm no good with them at all.
Oh. So you say you had a lot of good guys around you and you learned. What did you actually learn being in ICI?
Well, I learned how to learn. That was one good thing.
Can you explain that to us, yeah?
Well, there was a young guy there. I mean, I came in with, one O-level in chemistry and one in geography with the bottom grades. That was it, you know what I mean? And I found out you could do day release. And I found out if you did day release, you could go up this grade and you could, get better wages. And there was a young guy there, he was a bit older than me, and he used to get really top grades. So I just asked him what his secret was, and he told me. And it's what I share with my students today. And it's always worked. It never fails. And if anybody wants to know, if they send me £5 in a postal order. No, seriously, it was so simple. It was untrue. It's just a lot of hard work. You can't read yourself into science to good grades. And I just used to write it out, like Denny said, over and over again till I could write it out in my sleep. I'd walk into an exam. I knew there was nothing on the paper I couldn't do. It was a matter of choosing which questions I was going to do and coming out with top marks. And it worked. So nothing. I can't say I'm bright or clever. I just learned the system, and it stood me in good stead.
So you should learn. Did you? You said you retook your exams. Did you go anywhere else? Did you go take further education from that?
Oh yeah, I got my O levels up to scratch, and then I went on to ordinary national certificate, which was like A level when you work, you're on day release, and then looked at going to university then because I recognised that all the chemists came in 7 grades up the ladder from where I was. It took me years to get there, so I thought, we'll have a shortcut here. Anyway, I didn't go then. We got married instead, and I went and did HNC at Teesside Polytechnic, and then after that I went to university. Yeah.
So I like what you said there. We didn't do that. We got married instead. Tell us a little bit about that. How did you meet your wife?
Well, we met her actually hitchhiking back from a nightclub in Middlesbrough.
Well, when it was safe to do in those days, hitchhike, yeah.
Oh, yeah, safe, yeah. I had my dad's car. It was fantastic.
So how long have you been married now, Colin?
50 years last year.
Excellent. Mm. And do you still do what you're told?
Even more so now. Have you not noticed when you get to a certain age?
Now, you said, of course, you joined ICI. You were about a teenager at that stage, were you? About 19, 20?
What would I be? I'd be about 17, I think, when I started there. 17 probably, yeah. And I was 24 when I left to go to university, 27 when I graduated, and lo and behold, my first job was in Doncaster, in Rockware Glass.
Wow. Now, when you went to ICI, there was lots and lots of men working there. There's all sorts of cultures in these places, like drinking and smoking. Did any of these things ever entice you?
Well, it wasn't really a problem, to be honest, where I worked, because I worked in research labs. So, people had a bit more gumption than maybe some other areas of plant life would have. So it was not a problem. Not a problem. You're all good guys. They're encouraging, and it's where I learned out that I could actually buy a house, for instance, and do stuff like that. Yeah, through those guys. Yeah.
So you met some wise men along the way.
Absolutely, yeah. I had a very bad man who was my boss at one point. Yeah, he was a PhD. He was a Jesus man. He was member of the evangelic church. But could I find anything about Jesus off him? No way was he going to tell me anything. I think he thought I was taking the mick.
So you still hadn't heard about Jesus, the truth?
Well, I knew there was something, because when I was about 13, I went through, what is it called in the Anglican Church? Confirmation, right? And you get the nice little book, it tells you all about different things, prayers and stuff like that. And I knew there was more to it. But I couldn't find it. I went through confirmation. So
you went through the confirmation. Did you feel changed in any way?
No, not really. Temporarily, because it was wondrous stuff that we're reading, but no, nothing that changed my character, my person, well, not my personality, my character, nothing at all.
So, as a teenager, then, working in ICI and then chasing girls, what was it like for you? I mean, did you drink? Did you smoke? Did you,
Oh, yeah.
just one of the lads?
I didn't drink. I can't stand alcohol. It's something I am blessed with. But yeah, I smoked, and I had a really serious addiction. If I stopped smoking for 20 minutes, if I didn't have a cigarette for 20 minutes, I would start to slur my speech. My eyes would start streaming. I'd want to crawl into a ball, and I'd want to keep away from people. It was the most horrific experiences I've ever had when I tried to stop smoking.
LifeStories Live.
Yeah. And how did you manage to stop smoking, Colin?
I met a guy called Jesus on a football field in Aston Villa.
Okay, we'll come to that in a moment.
Never asked for it, just stopped, just went.
Okay, because I think you mentioned when we spoke before about joining the local youth club because they had a full-size snooker table.
Yeah, the church hall had a full-size church hall. So we persuaded the curate to let us have a youth club.
Excellent. Now, what was the attraction about the full-size snooker table?
What else could you play when you were like 13?
And were you any good at snooker, Colin?
No, it was terrible. Still am.
So it was a pointless exercise, would you say?
It was pleasurable for a while.
So anyway, you moved on. I mean, did you meet the church hall? Did you meet the chaplain and everything there, or the curate? Did he not tell you about Jesus?
No, no. I mean, he's a great guy. I love him to bits. I'm just trying to think of his name, but he was the guy who was the chaplain at Strangeways Prison. You know,
Mm-hmm.
riots kicked off, and they kicked off in one of his services. I've got his name on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember it.
It'll come back.
Yeah, but yeah, he's a great guy.
Excellent.
I mean, the thing was, you know, I'm going to stick my neck out here, but in the denominational churches, you know, Jesus was part of a system. You know, confirmation, infant baptism, and so on. There was no. Well, the church is ours, and anyway, I've learned since that there are churches that are evangelistical. I wouldn't say evangelical because that's not good either. Oops, sorry. But you know, they don't necessarily tell people about salvation, about where you're going when you die. I mean, that's the most important thing. That we are, you know, eternal beings, and we're not going to die. It's just where you choose to spend eternity that's the important bit, and not choosing is choosing.
Excellent. So, you met a lot of these people who went to church. I mean, Britain itself is classed as a Christian country, but would you say these people were Christians? Or what is the difference between being a born-again Christian and a nominal Christian?
Well, for my money, you know, I can only talk about myself. Although I went to church for a time, at times, I never met Jesus, and we can meet Jesus, and that's the big difference. And without that moment of recognizing the Lord and inviting Him into your life, you can know everything you want. You can know the theology you want, but you might as well know the history of Napoleon, but it doesn't make you, you know, Napoleonese or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you know we've all got this inbuilt aversion to God. You know, I mean, you know, we do some witnessing on the streets and just trying to get people to talk about God and eternity and Jesus without being hard. I mean, just general conversations. Very, very difficult because, you know, there was a big divide came in the Garden of Eden, and, you know, God's been looking for a way to bring us back to Him ever since. And of course, Jesus was the plan.
Okay. So you eventually found Jesus, or did Jesus find you? Tell us a little bit how that happened.
Oh, that's interesting. That depends on your theology, doesn't it? I tend not to go into that. In my case, what happened to us was that we were living in Doncaster. We had 2 children. Fiona was about 7, I would say. Nick was about 5. And Fiona made friends with a couple of young girls over the road she went to school with. And their parents went to the local church on this date. And they invited Fiona and Nick to go to like the kids' works and stuff like that. So they went along, and then one time Fiona came home and she said to Mum, she said, next week it's Mother's Day and we're making some posies. We'd like you to come to church and give you a posy. And Carrie says, yeah, no problem. So she said to me, are you going to come with me? And I said, no way, it's my lying day. You know, I did church. I know all about church. I went to a Christian school sort of thing, you know. Why would I? Anyway, Carrie went and she had a great time. And she came home and she said to me, you know, she said, there's something different about that church. She said, I don't know what it is, but there's something different about it. So she said, will you come with us next week? So I said, yeah, okay, I'll come with you next week, because my mum would have done that and my dad, you know, for me kind of thing. So we went to this little church on the estate, and the most amazing thing happened. No matter where we sat, the guy who was speaking at the front was having a conversation with me. I didn't care. It didn't feel like there was, you know, like maybe 100 people in the room or 50 or whatever. I had no idea how many it was. He was speaking to me. And then I discovered that they had different speakers coming every week. And so I wanted to go the following week. So I went the following week, and it was a different speaker. And he was having this conversation with me. And it just went on like this. And so, you know, within a short space of time, we were going to every service that they did, because I wanted to know, you know, is it going to happen? What's happening here kind of thing. Nobody explained what was going on. And so on. And then after about, I don't know, I guess it would be about 7 or 8 months, something like that, we used to go to a Saturday night club where which was a family night and stuff like that. It was a great place, honestly, great church. The difference is, though, I knew I wasn't like many of the people who went there. I knew they had something that I didn't have. Although I started to look like them and probably smell like them, I knew they had something I didn't have. Anyway, they were going to organise a trip to Mission England, to Aston Villa ground on the 1st of July, 1984. So we put our names down. Carrie was involved in prayer triplets and all that kind of thing. But we weren't born again. We didn't know that he could be. And on the Saturday night, the week before, they ran a family night and they showed a Billy Graham video. And the most horrendous but incredible thing happened. And that was at the point where Billy Graham invited people to come down onto the pitch. The senior elder, stopped the video and he said, would anybody here like to put their hand up and come down the front? Oh, my heart was going. I wanted to be down that front, but, I'd been going here that long now and, I don't know what they thought of me and all that kind of thing. So I didn't go. And I knew I'd missed something special.
Life Stories. Life Stories Live.